Okay, so with me here, I have logged into the dashboard or the front end as a staff member, not the administrator. And what we have down here, these are tasks that have been assigned to me, or in this case, Mary. So these are specific to Mary. Now we have other staff members like John, Mark, and all that. So everybody sees tasks based on which one have been assigned to them. Now you can use a listing like I have done here. You can also use a data table if you want to as well. It's the same thing. And now for this, for you to have something like this, you need a query. And that query is what I want to show you right away. So here I have a query called tasks assigned to staff and its current staff. So basically this is straightforward. This is very straightforward because it doesn't need a lot of things. And it's because I simplified one thing when we created our post type. Now, when you go back to where we did our post type, let me just get it so that I can show you. Remember, we added a meta field called assignee ID. Do you remember that field? Yep. So that field stores the ID of the staff member or the user who has been assigned a task. So this field here, it's very important, and that's what we're gonna use. So when you go back to this query, number one, it's a post query. It's a posts query. Then down here we select which post type. It's tasks. Okay. Then the status, basically published. That's what we want, and that's all for the general part of the clauses here. Now if I enable this, you will see it's 0 because I'm currently logged in as an administrator, and there is no task assigned to me as an admin because of this next part here. Now the meta query is where we want this to come in. So the custom user ID, which is the assignee ID, it's what we're gonna get here as the key or the field name. Okay, so that's what we paste in here. Then we compare that key to current user ID. So basically what we are trying to do is to make sure that all the tasks or all the posts that have a certain integer in this meta or this column or this field here, that is compared to the current logged in user. So if those match, then it means this task belong to that logged in user. And that's exactly what's going on here. So all of the tasks that have been listed here, if we go check them, we'll see that the ID in that field corresponds to the ID of Mary, and that's why it's like that. And that's all. That's all about that. That's all about this query. It's not complicated. So if I can change this right here, if I just delete that, you can see it now brings all the tasks here. So we are not filtering it based on any clause, and you can see we have all the tasks here. And you can see the author one is the administrator, is the author. But if we go down a little bit and check that custom user ID, you can see here, this is the column in the database. So we have, this is 4. And if we check any other, we have the another one, this is 3. And it's like that. So those ones correspond to the person who has been assigned the task, and that's the purpose of that meta field if you are wondering about it. So I will just take it back to where it was. So you use this database icon or this coin stack icon here and select current user ID like that. So that is the query we need for that, and it's done. It's done like that. So I think the next thing now that we want to do is let us go ahead and look at how to create that listing. Then we proceed like that. Okay, so as usual, go to JetEngine in your dashboard, left hand side, go to JetEngine, listings, stroke components, then add new. I have a bunch of these here because I'm dealing with a lot of things, and I believe it's these here, tasks assigned to staff, current staff, that corresponds to the query as well. So go to that, and what you want to do is add new. Let me just demonstrate very fast how this works. So the source of your listing, it's not posts, okay, because we want to use the query that we just created. So you will select query as the source, query builder like that. Then the query, it's the query that we just looked at a few moments ago. So that is assigned tasks. Let me see if I will see it. You see, I have a lot of these things here. So assigned task here, assigned tasks assigned to staff, current staff, that is the query. Then give it a name. Normally for me, I always name them just similar so that I can understand later on when I have a lot of them. So give it a name and then use whatever you want to use here, whether you want to use Elementor or you are dealing with bricks, I don't know. That's entirely up to you, and you can proceed. So I will open it up because I already have it. Then I will take you through the fields and how to set them up. So let's do it. Okay, so there's nothing fancy about how to build this thing. It's entirely on how you want to arrange your things, how you want the user interface to look like, and whatever you are trying to achieve as the end goal. So I have several columns here. That is task, start date, priority, due date, status and action. So for the task, this is the title, and what you want to do is drop in a dynamic field. Then the source should be the default, which is post term user object data, and the field is the title, and that's done for that part. Then the start date here, you'll also have to drop in a dynamic field, and this time around you're gonna select metadata as the source, then select the field from the meta field from the drop down that corresponds to the field in your CPT. So you will have a bunch of stuff here, and basically what you want to pay attention to is the CPT first, because if you have a lot of these you can get confused. So pay attention to the specific CPT, which is tasks. Then within that CPT you want to select the correct meta field, which is start date. It does not end there. You scroll down, and what you want to do is filter field output, then format that into human readable date using this. And if you want a different way to do it, you can follow that link and read the documentation and bring in the initials that you want to use for that. Now, I just want to remind you that in our CPT, we are saving the start date and the end date. You can save it as a Unix timestamp, or raw dates, in whichever way you want to do that. In most cases, I always advise you to use the Unix timestamp because it's flexible. You can use it in different ways, especially when it comes to filtering things later on in tables or listings. Then priority. So priority, this what we want to do with these ones here. We just want to use our terms from our taxonomy. Okay, terms from our taxonomy. I explained that. So we will select from which taxonomy it's priority. We know priority, it's what we have it for the tasks. Then the terms, to show it's just one, then make sure you disable this show all terms, and link terms also, this should be off, because as I explained in one of the previous videos, we do not want people to click this thing. Let me show you something. Let us go back here. So we do not want these things to be clickable, because it will cause chaos that you do not want that to happen. You just use this for visual purposes and nothing more than that. So make sure you disable that so that they don't start clicking those. We don't want them to click those. Then basically what I'm doing here is I'm just being clever a little bit. I added an icon there like that. Then I came to styling and I just did some styling to them so that they can appear like you've seen in the front end. That is, I added padding around them in the advanced tab. Then I went to the background here and I also did what I did with the background, which at the end of the day, it gives you this nice looking stuff that you can see here, medium, high, and all that. So you do that. Sorry for that. So you do that for all of them. You just repeat, create the first one, duplicate 4 times. And what you want to do, it's one, you want to do this. Let me show you something now. For the first one, you will go to this advanced tab as well, then go to dynamic visibility. Okay, then show element if condition is met, and what we want to use here, it's post has terms. Okay, and the term it's high, and our taxonomy it's priority. So you select the correct taxonomy from the drop down list. And I will repeat this one more time. Name your taxonomies properly so that when you get to this point, you know exactly what you are supposed to select from the list, right? All right. Okay, so that's done. Duplicate that 4 times, I don't know, 3 times. Then what you just want to do in each, it's go change the background color and the dynamic visibility. Yeah, so it will always respond based on the priority, I mean the taxonomy, the term that it's currently associated to that specific post type. Then the due date, it's exactly like the start date as we did. So you'll have to drop in dynamic field. Remember the priority, we dropped in dynamic terms widget. So for due date, drop in a dynamic field, then select the metadata as the source, then select the correct field. Remember to format or to filter the output just as I mentioned. Then status, it's a repetition of what we've done with priority. Repeat the same. So you'll have to drop in a dynamic terms, then select the correct taxonomy, which is task status. Make sure show all terms is off, linked is off. Then we just need one, and do the styling and repeat the same thing here as well, which is the dynamic visibility. We show element if post has terms, which is completed. This is for the first example, because we have completed, cancelled, pending, all that stuff. Then select the correct taxonomy from the drop down again, and duplicate it the number of times that you have the terms and style them as well. Then the action here, this is just a dynamic link. So drop in a dynamic link. Then the source is a permalink. And what this permalink does, it's that it will just direct the user to the single post type page. That it's the next thing that we want to do. Now, for this thing, you will have to make sure that you also take care of responsive stuff. That is, make sure that on your mobile people see it differently, because if you leave it like this, then it becomes chaotic on mobile phone. So what I usually do in my case is making sure that I have another widget, another container down here, which it's for mobile and tablets as well. Then I use grids instead of containers so that they can look nice on mobile phone. If you do not want to go this way, then I will advise you to use the dynamic tables, because it's easier for the users to just scroll them horizontally on screens, and you don't need to create them twice, because they will be easier for them to use, like I will show you somewhere else in the videos that we will be making in future. So that is the listing, and it's done and dusted like that. So let's move next to the single post type. Then after there, we'll now go to the page that has those listings, so that you can see how to make sure that the administrator can see these, the other users can see this based on who is supposed to see what. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, it's that I'm using Elementor, and what you want to do is go to templates, saved templates, go to all, go to single posts and add new single post using that button at the top there. Give it the title properly, and then let us see how to set up the rest of the things, because I already have mine here, which is assigned task. So if you are using anything else for the post types, just follow along, because there's much for you to learn as well. All right, here we go. I'm gonna be quick on this part because it's exactly the same process as we did when we were dealing with single post type for personal tasks. So I'm not going to get into much details here. If you want more of that, you can refer to the other video that we did on the other parts. I think it's part 6 of this series. So what we have here, it's number 1, we have the title of the task, then we have the date. So these are dynamic fields that you just drop in. So you drop in dynamic fields. So this is dynamic meta, and it's the date, and you do a little bit of styling to this thing as well. So this is the format of the date. No author, no all these other things. I don't need them. I also don't make this clickable because of the reasons that I told you. We do not want them to click these things because it's not needed. Then priority and status, repeat the same process that I have shown you in the listing part. Drop in the dynamic term in there, then follow exactly what we just did in terms of content, style, and the advanced, including the dynamic visibility thing, because you want to show them based on the term that is currently associated with the post. Then description, so it's also a dynamic field here, and you want to select it from the source and media. The source is metadata. Then the meta field, you select again the correct one. And for the attachments here, this is a repeater field. So remember, our attachments are repeater fields, and if you have anything else that is a repeater field, you need to handle it the same way that we are handling this one here. I already explained this in the other video. Just know that for this one, you drop in a dynamic repeater, not a dynamic field. Then select the source, which is the key of that field. From here, it's this task attachment, and you can just style them in whichever way. For me, I'm using a table, so it's a table, and I explained this thing, so you'll forgive me, guys. I'm not gonna repeat this. I explained this in the previous video. You need to go and check it out. Okay, then I will spend a little time on the comments here, because this is something that has a little bit of things that you need to understand. We will go back and create this listing. I'll just show you the listing. Then let me explain what we have here. So number one, this is just an icon list, or it's whatever. You can use a button or whatever widget you want to use. And the purpose of this thing is to open a Jet pop-up that has the form for the user to add a comment. Okay, so that's all about it. So I add comment, that is the pop-up, and it's on widget. Click on widget, because I just want them to click on this widget, and that is opened. I will go show you in a short while. Now the other thing that I wanted to show you, I have two of these, and basically what I'm doing here is the second one, it's only visible dynamically based on how many number of comments we have on the page. And it's just to make the user experience much better, because I want, if we have multiple comments, say like 6 or whatever, and they've scrolled down all the way, I want them to add comment from down there instead of having to scroll back at the top to find the top add comment button. That's why I have show element if. Then the condition here, it's I have a query. Okay, so that's why I'm using query results as the field. Let me just use the range button there. So it's comments for current assigned task. Okay, comments for current assigned task. I will show you that query later on. I hope I won't forget. So that is the query. Then total count, total query count. Then that's the whatever it returns, and the value is 4. So if it's equal or greater than 4, then show this button. So what I'm basically doing is that if we have 4 or more comments on the page, then show this button at the bottom so that the user can use it instead of scrolling back at the top to find the top button. So that's what it is. And this is a listing, and it's a listing that lists all the comments. Comments are CCTs. I will just take you through very fast. So that's what that does. But there's one more thing that I wanted to introduce. Now here I have something. So you can go to Crocoblock main website, go to developer tools, then look for something called form sync. This is what we are using here. Download and install it as a plugin on your site. Then you will get this widget. So what you want to do is drop in this form sync widget into the page, then select the form. So for me, it's add comment. This one here, that the form that it's inside this pop-up. Then what we want to do is filter on successful. After the form has been successful submitted, we want to filter that. Then this filter is for JetEngine. From the list here, it's for JetEngine, and that's it. So what this add-on does is that when the user submits a form successfully, instead of reloading this page for the listing here to update, it filters this by refreshing it, and the comment appears instantly. I will show you that practically. So that is the new thing that I wanted to introduce in this part. Okay, so everything else on this other side, we already talked about it, and I won't repeat. So let us go to the other side so that I can show you these things. That is this CCT for this stuff, for the comments. And I think we'll be done with this. Yeah, we'll be done with that part. Okay, now it's time for us to play around with the front end a little bit. Yep, and I just remembered that there is a listing that we have not, there is a page we have not looked into, but that is just a simple page that we want to put in the listing grid and do a few configurations. So it's nothing complicated. But before we do that, let us play around with the front end just a little bit so that you can have a feel of how that works. So I'm logged in as an administrator here. And this one here, it's where you can assign. This is not assigning, but this is adding a personal task, which is not what we are doing. So I'm going to the tasks page here, using that navigation on the left hand side, so that we can assign Mary one task, then see a few things on the other side. And I also want to remember that I have not shown you this table here that lists all the assigned tasks. So now I, as the administrator, I can see the tasks that I have assigned to all the staff members, and I can see the status here and the priority, and I can go to more details as well. So I can see this is medium, it's completed, this is in progress, and things like that. So now you can see there's a difference. This here, it's a table, it's a data table, it's not a listing grid. I will show you this table in a short while, and the reason why we did the other query builder using the AI or SQL rather than the other thing, it's because of this table. It's specifically because of this table, because this table needs all these things. It needs the priority, it needs the status, and it needs these and other stuff. So first I want to assign Mary. So I'll come here to assign task. Remember, we already did this thing. We created the form. So what I want to do right now is just to use some dummy text. Use just some dummy text for this thing. Now, what do I want to do? So let me do this. Let me use just one of this thing here as the task details, like that. So I will just first do that here, but first what should I use as the title? When is today? Today is 2206. Let me use that. Then I can just copy something from here like that and put it there. So yep, then the agency, let me say this is high. Then the staff, did I show you this thing, the staff, this drop down list on the form? I think I skipped it, but I don't remember. Okay, the staff is Mary here, then the date. So remember when I was showing you the form, I think I'll have to go back to the form. Definitely, I must go back to this form, because just notice that there are things that you might want to see. So I will have to go back to it. I will have to go back to this form. Okay, so the date, so it's today, it's on Monday, it's past midnight over here, so that is that. Then I will say the due date. Let me give them 1 day. Let me skip time, no time. So time is optional. They can do it all the day. Then let me just do this to make these paragraphs look better, like that. And also pretend that I'm emphasizing on this sentence, like that. Then I will I'm not attaching anything, so let me skip attaching things. Okay, I will come back to this form and come back to this thing that I just skipped. Now this here, I think I explained this thing in one of the videos. I explained this. I explained this thing. I explained this thing, assign to. So I will have to, now we will have to go back, but let me just assign the task first. Then I will go back and explain how it works, because you need to understand how to fetch the users, right? And use them here dynamically. So if you add more of them, they will always be available in the options here in this drop down. So that is something that I skipped in the form part, which is equally important for you to understand, especially if you are new to this thing. So I'll have to go back and explain how that is done. Okay, so I've selected my user as Mary, and now let me assign the task. So assign task, then I will do that. Task assigned, staff notified. Okay, so what I've set this is, once the task has been assigned and all that, it just reloads the page so that the task is added on this table here, which you can see it's here. And when that happened as well, staff was notified by email, and I'm gonna show you that email also as well, of how it looks like and all that it entails. Okay, and that's where the things that I've been working on comes in as well, which I will show you also. So let us go back to the form, and I'm going to explain to you how that thing is done, how to fetch all users dynamically. And it is something that you can use with other things, not just users, but you can use that with posts and terms. I've already shown you terms, taxonomies. So you can use with posts, you can use them with options and everything else using the same technique. So let us go back to the form so that I can explain to you what is happening there. Now here, what we are doing is generate dynamically. So now it's a select field, and instead of using manual input, posts, terms, meta field, whatever, or glossary, we are using generate dynamically. Why? Because this is dynamic. We want, anytime we have new users added, we can always find them in the list as options. Then what we do now here, it's equally important as well. Now we have a bunch of lists here. We can get values from the database. You can use values from WordPress users. I think these are new. These are new stuff that have been added in the latest versions of this form. And you can use JetEngine query, which it is what we are using right here. Then select the query from the list, and then you go ahead and do this other stuff. Now let us go to the query first, and okay. So let me show you now. I have a query which I've labeled or named it as staff. And basically what that query does, it's that it fetches all the staff members only, just the staff, because those are the ones that we need in these drop down as options. So we'll go to JetEngine Query Builder. So JetEngine, then go to the Query Builder, and I just want to show you that. Then once we do that, I will explain to you what this is, as well as what the option label is too. Right. Okay, so before I show you the query and also show you why you should not use that right now because of the updates that have come to JetFormBuilder, this is the email that the staff receives once an email, a task has been assigned to them. So here it is, and you can see how nice it looks like. I will just show you how to achieve the same thing as we progress. So that is the email, the task details, description, then the button is there for them to go to the task straight away. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, now when I was creating this, the only way to do it was this way, because we did not have the other option that we now have in the form, which I just showed you in a while ago, here, where we have this from WordPress users, because if we had this during those days, then basically I couldn't use this because it's not needed. Now, as you can see here, we have that is stuff. Then basically this is just user query. Then the role, it's stuff, and that's all about that. And that's what we are supposed to use, or that's what we are using. And these are the columns here. So these are the columns. So we have user login, blah blah blah, and all that. Now if you come back to the form here, so the query, it's stuff, that is the query that I've just shown you. Then the option value, I want their email, so I will use this meta field here, or that the meta key, which is user underscore email. Then the option label, the label is what you now see in the drop down in the front end, what we saw here when we selected this. So these are the labels, and that is being used as display name, and that's all. Those are the two things that you need. Forget about the calculated field and all that. So that is one way to go about it, which was an older way. Now currently, right now, what we just need to do for you, you should basically use get values list from WordPress users, then select the role, which they say it's optional, but basically that's what you want to do. You do not want to have all of them, but if you want to have all of them, then you can just leave it as is. Then it will fetch all the users. And the option value, so the option value, I will stick with the email, so that is the value. Then the label, I will use the display name, just like I did before. And yeah, you can include the current user if you want to, or you can turn this off if you do not want to do that. For me, I will just leave it as is. and I can save this, and I'm pretty sure if I refresh the front end, it should still work as it did earlier on. Okay, then we can come back here and check the task that we assigned to Mary. So at the top here, yep, there we have the notification. So apart from the email that I just showed you, the user also receives an in-app notification like that. So it's here. So a new task, that's the title, has been assigned to you, and they can go to task details, or they can mark as read if they want to. They can, yesterday task is here, older, it's there, and all that. Now, if you want this notification system, I have it. It's now ready and available for you guys to check it out. I will be showing you the link in a moment later on, but let us just continue. Oh, and for the email that I just showed you as well, you can check this out. So it's also ready. I have built it completely. It's a detailed thing. I will take you through later on. I will just be fast to show you what it can do, but it's here. I will leave the link in the description down below for you to check this landing page, see what you can get with it. It does more than just that email thing. Okay, yeah, it does more than just that email thing. So for this, we can, let us use here. So let us go to details so that we can check that out. And in the meantime, let me see this at the end, our form, if it has updated to what we just did. So if we say assign new task and we select stuff, we can see it's exactly the same thing that we had. So yep, the new update that we have for the forms, if you want to use users, you can see you can use that instead of going the query way, which it was an older approach. But if you want to do more than just selecting users, then you might still want to use the query, because it gives you other options that you can use that are not available directly here. Yeah, as you can see, if you want to do more than just selecting a user, or you want to have very specific and something like that, then you might still want to use the query, because it gives you that flexibility to do more than just a few things. Okay, so though that is done, I think that is something I wanted to show you on this form. And now let me show you the email thing, right? Yeah, now for the email thing, if you want to send out those branded emails with those nicely styled sections and cards, I have something that I built. Initially, these were, I was using code snippets, and I have a bunch of them now. The problem was, every time you want to, you have a new form and you want to do the same thing, you need to rewrite the same snippets. You need to change things, you need to do that, you need to do this. So I decided to build this, so that instead of doing all that, building the same thing over and over again for different forms or different projects, I just have a plugin that does all that for me easily. And good news is that this plugin is available for you as well. You can get the free version, test it out. I know you saw when we were submitting the form, we had a pop-up asking us to confirm. Then we had that animation kind of thing that you saw, which it's here. Yep, it's here. It's here. So you can see. And what we saw was this. This is what you saw when I submitted one of those forms, the running dots like that. So just letting the user sit tight as they wait for the form to submit, rather than wondering what is actually going on and maybe leading them to clicking around in panic or something like that. So I have this thing that you can use for your projects as well if you want to. So we have the more global confirmation model and processing model, and the model styling, it's here. So you decide on what you want to use globally for the animations and the buttons, these ones here and all that. Then down below here, it's where now you want to configure each form individually. So each form is different. So some of them might require the confirmation model. Some of them do not need the confirmation model. They just need the processing model. For instance, like this one here, this one of my forms here does not require confirming anything. It just requires the processing model. Yeah. And if you have a form that does not need any of those two, simply add it here and make sure all of these are off. So when that form is submitted, it will just submit silently. But if you want to have each form with different models, then you can add them here one by one based on your requirements. And all your forms will always be available for you here. So you just select from the drop down the form that you want to add, configure, and all that. Now back to the important thing that actually brought me here, and that is the email that I just showed you. So this email here, this one here that you just saw here, yeah, now this one comes from this part. So that is assign task. So it's here, assign task. Let me preview that for you so that you can see the similarities of what it is. So basically what you saw, it's here. So how the recipient display name, a new task has been assigned to you, task details. So task, priority, start date, due date, then description and the button. It's there, then the footer. So you build them basically from this part like that, and without touching a single line of code, everything is here. So you select your form from the drop down, then give the template a name that is for internal use for these templates here, then select recipient. We have different recipients here. We have user ID, whatever, all that. So this thing has a lot of things that I don't think it's ideal for me to take you through right now in this video, which it will be deviating from the main goal that we are trying to achieve. But I just wanted to show you that the thing you saw comes from here, and I have a link in the description down below for the landing page for this, as well as the documentation for this thing, so that you can see what it can do. It does a lot of crazy things. You can send conditional emails, you can send smart you can use smart recipients, you can do more stuff here that you can read in the documentation, as well as I will create an independent video just on this so that you can see what it can do. But the purpose of this thing was to eliminate the many snippets that I was using for the same things, and to make the work easier, because I thought if I give you the snippets, some of you guys are not code people, so coding might be something that you do not want to do and all that. So this is here. I showed you the notification. It's being taken care of here at this part, notification settings. This is only available if you have the notification plugin installed as well. So this is where that is coming from. And for the notification, it's here as well. So it's a complete 100% working plugin that does a lot of things. So watch out for new videos on this too, this notification system, the templates system that I've just shown you. I also have another one, which is Jet Appointments front end. If you have seen something on the other side, I will show you that as well. You can now allow your users, providers, and users to manage appointments right from the front end without touching the back end. I have that one as well. It's 100% free. I will give that to you. Just watch out for the video about those things that I've just mentioned. Now let us quickly finish up the things that we are supposed to finish up. On this part here, I said I want to show you this table. So we already have the query that we already created. I started with that one. So let me just go to the tables builder so that I can show you the table and how to put it together, because it requires a little bit of you to be keen and to pay attention. So that is let me see, where are they? Tasks, assigned tasks. Here is the table. Now this table uses the query that we created earlier on. So the first thing that you need to do with tables is you give it a name, then you select your data query from the drop-down list. Then you proceed to the columns and add your columns just like what we have here. Now, one thing I want to mention again, I even provided the code. I provided the code and all the necessary details that you need for you to have this exact data table that I have here. So you want to check the previous video for the code and the instructions on how to get a similar data table that has the search there. You can do this here, and these all buttons that you have here, because without this, the pagination and all that, you will have something that just looks like this. So this is crazy. This is a very long table, and if you use JetEngine data table directly, then you will get something like this that it's not pleasant. Now back to putting this together. So the first column here, it's the task, and what we do, it's we go to let me do what? I think I need to open that query up for you to see exactly. But again, this is something that I also explained in the other video, so let me not just repeat myself. So task, then it's raw value from the column content, it's raw value. Then from the data source here, we are going with fetched column, because we are using that query that we created at the start of the video. Okay, so then we select the column, which is post title. So that is done. Then we move to assignee. Again, it's fetch column. Then we select the specific column from the drop down, which is assignee display name. That's what we are using. And remember what I mentioned earlier on when I was showing you that query, it's that make sure you add all the columns that you will need to use, because if you don't do that, then when you come to looking for that here, you will not find it. So you'll need to go back to the query and add it for you to get it here as well. Okay, yeah. Then start date as well. So we select from the column, again it's fetched column, we select the column that has our start date. Then we format that into human readable format using this FJY. Same to due date. Then the task priority, it's again fetched column. Now remember, we joined tables, we joined the metas, and we joined the taxonomies. That's why it gives us an opportunity to get them here in the columns as well, because we prepared for this earlier on. So it's priority name. It's priority name. Again, this is based on the columns that we fetched from our query builder. And it's the same thing that we do with the status, which it's the status name. Remember, we had status slug, status name, and status ID. Remember, we had those things. you can see here, slug name, slug name. I deliberately eliminated ID because I didn't see anywhere that I'm going to use the raw ID here. Yep. Then the action is the GUID, and remember I told you what the GUID is. Then we customize this because we do not want to have an entire URL here. We just want an anchor text that the user can click on. So you customize the column output. Then this %s in those two, you can see those are just single quotation marks. This is what carries the URL. Then I have formatted it in a normal HTML link way. So that's how we have that, and which we end up with this stuff here. And that's done. That's done. Then you can style your tables, just balance the width. And this is it's a trial and error thing. You cannot be very specific or very sure of how much or the exact number to put here. You just put one, check how it looks like in your table. If you are happy with it, you move forward with it like that. If you are not happy, you make adjustments, and that's done. So that's the table, and it's the table that we have here. So if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section below. So the last thing that I want to show you is, let me go back. Okay, I think we had these comment listings here. And the other thing, I just explained how it works, but I want to demonstrate it live just right now. Let me pretend this is a comment. Then let me add it here like that. And I'm gonna attach something. Really, I don't want to attach. I will skip attachments for now. So I'll just comment, and I want you to see how it works. Yeah, there you go. So no page refresh, no reloading, no redirects, no nothing. You just add your comment and it shows up straight away like that. Did you see it? I hope you saw that. I explained it already how it works. I told you where to go and what to look for you to have that to work for you like that. Okay, so let us go back here because I want to show you. I'm pretty sure you guys can create CCT for the comments, and you can add them properly based on the videos that we did earlier on. You can just go refer to them and do that. But if you have a question, let me know in the comment section down below. So the last thing that I want to show you is this listing here that carries all these things that we have for the current staff member. We already did the query, so we just need to put these together, and that will be it as well. So let us do that, and we will be winding up this video. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, but if there is something that I've forgotten, kindly remind me in the comment section down below. Okay, so this is the last part of this thing, and this video has become too long than I expected, and it's because I'm trying to explain everything instead of skipping through for you to understand. Now, as I've said, this data table here uses some custom code which makes it appear as it does. And if you want that, check the previous video, either part 6 or 5. You will see more about it and even find the code that can help you achieve the same thing. Okay, so we did this already, my tasks, this part. If you are new to this, you also need to check the other videos, the other parts at the back. So what we want to do is tasks assigned to staff here, which is that table that we just built. Remember the table that I've taken you through. So basically what you want to do here is just drop in a dynamic table widget. See, dynamic table widget. Then you style it as you wish, and that's done. Select the table that we did, and that's done for that. Now the next part down here, it's what we have. Okay, I just moved away from it. I will have to go back anyway. So the next part, it's what it's important. But now before we even move there, let me just do something. Now this container here, had some dynamic visibility restrictions to it, because this same page is visible to both the administrator and the staff members, and we want everybody to see what they are supposed to see. So we are using dynamic visibility here for this section container, that is, and we are saying show element only if the user role is administrators. That's it. So only the administrators will see this part here. Okay. Then the next section here, again, we are using dynamic visibility, because now for this, it's for the staff. So tasks assigned to me as a staff member. So we are using dynamic visibility again, and this time around we are saying show this if user role is user role here should be, okay, which page am I looking at first? Did I select the right assigned to me? Yeah, hide, not show. Oh, sorry, I almost okay, it's hide. So hide element if user role is administrators. So you can use hide or show, whichever works for you. It's the same thing. So if it's administrators, hide this container from them, because these are not meant for them. Now here we drop in the listing grid, and this listing grid is the listing grid that we did. Remember, we did that listing grid a few moments back, so it's time now to put it in. So select it from the listing grid drop down list. So tasks assigned to staff, current staff. Yeah, we did this. If you forgot, we did this already. So drop it in. Then we only need one column, not two, not three, just one. Then the post number, I usually use 6. I don't want to list too many of them. If not found, there's a text there. Then now, instead of using, I don't like this load more thing. It just makes me sick. So instead of using load more or that infinite scroll thing, basically what I usually do is adding in a pagination there. So you need to drop in a pagination widget, and this comes with one of JetEngine's tools. I think it's JetEngine Elements. I'm not sure which one it is, but it comes with one of those. So drop in the pagination widget. Then once you do that, now because we have this page has a lot of listings, okay? So at the top here we have many more listings, and because of that, you don't just drop in the pagination and that's it. You need to do something else, and that is you need to add a query ID. So this is what I have in my case, more assigned tasks. So that is what I call it. So give it that and go back to the listing here. Go back to the listing, go to the advanced tab, and what you want to do is you want to put that as the CSS ID as well. Now what that does is that it tells this pagination, hey, you are working with this specific listing and not any other listing on the page. But if you have only one listing on the page, there's no need to do that, because it will only target that specific. But if you have more than one, then you need to be very specific with which one it should target, so that this pagination don't get confused and wonder which listing exactly should I work with. So do that, then style your pagination as you want to, but don't forget to make sure that you select its pagination for JetEngine. That is very important. Then application type is Ajax. Yeah, that's it for this one. So I'll just save this, and that my friends, that's it about this thing that we were working on here. I will have to, okay, let me see if this is saved before I can reload the page again. Yeah, that is saved. So this is the listing, and that's how to go about this thing. Let me just go back here first, because there is something important that I feel I might be skipping somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, there is something I almost forgot, because look here, we have many staff members, not one. We did something to do with the query that fetches those assigned tasks, and there's something we did about the ID, current user ID equals to assignee ID. Remember that part? Yep, we created that thing. So here it's where it comes into play. Custom query, enable this, then select that query from the list. So tasks assigned to staff, current staff. So that's what we use. Now what this query does is that it filters, or it makes sure that tasks that are listed in this listing grid belongs to the current logged in user, and that's it about that. So don't forget about that part. It's very important. If you don't do that, then everybody will see everything, and that's not what you want. Okay, so we are done. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have suggestions, let the suggestions come. If you want me to create a video in whatever area that you need, let me also know in the description down below. So here it's our pagination that we just did, and you can see. So if you hit 2, there we go. So this is page 2, so 3 as well, and all that. So easy, right? Yeah, it should be easy to do. So thank you guys for watching this. All the links that I've mentioned are in the description down below. Watch out for the next video that I will be making on the appointments. I just mentioned about that, so you will know when the video is out, which means you need to have subscribed to the channel for you to be notified about it, right? Yeah, that's how it works. Or you will have to keep checking. So this is for those who have Jet appointments with them, and they feel like, or they admire to have something like this for their users to manage from the front end. And this is what happens. You have the custom schedule there, just like you have in the backend. So users can add days off there, just like that. Easy. Okay, they can add working days just like that. Easy. Everything, it's straightforward and easy, just like you have in the back end. They can set their work hours Monday all the way to Sunday, and it syncs with the back end exactly, no problems. And they can reschedule appointments as well. Yeah, yeah, they can do that. So they can reschedule appointments, and this happens to the providers and users. That's how JetEngine Jet Appointments put it, or staff and clients. So they can reschedule appointments from here, and this works with the native appointment bookings that we have. So the date, everything from here. So I will be making a detailed video on how this thing works and show you how to build this front-end table that fetches appointments just like this. You will learn things like API query and much more things from here. And they can also use that to check the appointment information. You also have Google Meet integrated in this thing as well. So it's nice. It's nice, guys. You will learn more about this in the video that I will just create that is dedicated to this. So thank you very much for sticking around. And as I said, I will leave you a link in the description below for the templates that I just showed you. You will read about it here. I have a detailed documentation as well for that, as well as for the notification system. And you can get this. There's a free version of this template, this templating thing, and it does a bunch of things. So guys, just take a few minutes and quickly skim through the documentation for you to just see what it does. You can go and check building your first, or rather creating your first email template. This is where we have all the information of what that thing does. It's crazy, it's amazing, it's awesome. So you need to go check this out and see how much you can do with it, and get the plugin for free. The free version is available. Just get it, play around with it in your development environments, and hit me back and let me know what you think about it. And if you want to support it as well, you can go pro and do more with it. So all features are available in the free version, by the way. So you're gonna just check it out and see what you cannot do with the free version. It's you cannot create unlimited templates. That's the only difference, but everything else you have it in the free version. So thank you for sticking around, and let me see you in the next one. Let me get comments down below. Please subscribe to the channel as well. It's important for me and for you and for everybody else as well. So see you later on. If there is anything that I've forgotten, remind me in the comment section down below. Thank you for your time. I'm signing out.